Coming up, alien beings and conspiracy theories, the Bigfoot Conspiracy by Dashe Roberts, and alien consequences.
Hello, in today's video we are looking at alien beings. Now, you don't have to be from out of space to be an alien. The definition of an alien being is actually a being that is from a foreign race, country, culture, or even planet. So it could be an alien from out of space. Have there ever been any sightings of aliens on Earth? Well, the answer to that is never for sure. But in 1947, there was a particular incident in the USA which did get people thinking as to what's out there. The Roswell UFO incident. Roswell is in New Mexico, which isn't actually in Mexico, it's in America. To the south, it's a sort of deserty region with mountains. On the 8th of July, 1947, the local paper in Roswell stated, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. The RAAF are the Roswell American Army Air Force. Now, what had happened was a ranch worker had found bits of debris all over the place and had wondered what this was. Roswell Army Air Force had stated seeing a flying disc over the area that had been brought down in a storm. The debris consisted of bits of tinfoil and rubber. It was very intriguing indeed. American scientists and news reporters all gathered to the location, and there was a media frenzy around whether, indeed, this had been a weather balloon, as claimed by the US Air Force, or in fact a UFO. People then began coming out as witnesses, and over the years there have been many witnesses, including a nurse that claims that she saw 3 creatures with strange bodies that she stumbled upon when she accidentally walked into an examination room. Doctors were studying them, and apparently they resembled human beings, but they had long, thin limbs and small bodies, spindly arms, and giant bald heads. It actually turned out that the debris was from a highly classified US project to detect atomic bomb tests in the Soviet Union. And it had all been kept secret and hushed up because they hadn't wanted the Soviet Union to catch wind of this. But still to this very day, people think it's all an elaborate US cover-up to hide the fact that alien beings landed on Earth. The Loch Ness Monster. The story of Nessie actually dates back 1,500 years when Irish missionary St. Columba is said to have encountered a beast in the River Ness back in 565 AD. The more modern stories stem from the 1930s when the Inverness Courier reported the first modern sightings of the monster. More recently, there was a trench that was discovered at the bottom that was supposedly Nessie's lair, and so drones were used by scientists to send down sound waves that bounced back so you could scan what the picture at the bottom actually looked like. I mean, the loch is massive. The official depth is 229 metres at its deepest point, and it contains more water than all the rest of the lakes of the UK put together. Although the investigations didn't find an actual lair, they did find a 9-metre giant model of Nessie that had been left there by a movie company. Bigfoot. In North American folklore, Bigfoot or Sasquatch are supposed to be hairy, walking upright, sort of ape-like figures that live in the wilderness, often leaving footprints behind. It's thought that Bigfoot could be the missing link between humans and our ape-like ancestors. Those that have seen Bigfoot claim the creature is roughly 6 to 9 feet tall, so not that far off human men, and they have hair all over them, and it's usually blacky brown or reddish brown. More recently, some photos were put forward of an ape-like creature that was claimed to be a juvenile Bigfoot, but it has been refuted, saying that it's probably a bear or some other creature, though anthropologists do point out that the proportions seem pretty wrong for a bear. The abominable snowman, or Yeti. Also an ape-like creature that's supposed to be taller than the average human. It's said to inhabit the Himalayan mountains. In 1951, the explorer Eric Shipton found a massive footprint of a Yeti, or so he thought, on the Nepal-Tibet border. He was looking for an alternative route when doing an expedition in Everest. The photograph he took was very sharp and very clear and almost looked like a human footprint, but with a big thumb. He was such a respected explorer, and the photograph was so clear that people didn't really question it too much. Other expeditions in the 50s and 60s reported sightings of Yeti footprints. In fact, in 53, Sir Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing reported sightings. And in 1970, more recently, British mountaineer Don Willans said he actually witnessed a creature while scaling Annapurna. He reported that he actually saw it moving on all fours. The most recent sighting was in 2019 by the Indian Army, and the footprints they found measured 81 by 38 centimetres. That's pretty big. So there you have it, some of the strange alien beings that have been sighted here on planet Earth. Do they exist or don't they? Who knows? In the book I'm reading from today, UFO-obsessed Lucy Sladen finds a creature of her own when out in the woods.
The Bigfoot Conspiracy by Dashe Roberts.
Chapter 1. Encounter of a weird kind. After all the time she had insisted that something was out there, after all the times no one believed her, after the lifetime of sniggering she had endured, tonight Lucy Slade would prove she was right. With a click, she loaded a roll of film into the old camera she had borrowed from her parents. She needed proof, the kind that was hard to fake. People of the world, she thought, prepare to learn the truth. Her skin tingled with excitement. She still couldn't quite believe it. The night before, while taking the dog out for a gallop in the woods, Lucy had seen something in the sky. Something that looked remarkably, amazingly, like the out-of-focus flying objects pictured on her favourite website, thetruthhaslanded.org. A flash of lightning outside the round attic window cast jagged shadows across the sloped walls. For a fleeting moment, Lucy's bedroom seemed full of motion. She twisted a lock of her purple hair and counted out 6 Mississippis before she heard the corresponding rumble of thunder. Pushing her plastic-framed glasses up the bridge of her nose, she reread a highlighted article in yesterday's newspaper. Second disappearance in Sticky Pines. Beloved candy store owner Mandy Millipod, 66, has been reported missing. He was last seen birdwatching in Molasses Grove on the evening of September the 1st. Meanwhile, police are still searching for factory worker Alistair Shallon, 37, last seen fishing at Black Hole Lake on August the 17th. Authorities are looking into sightings of large wild animals in the area. Second disappearance in Sticky Pines. Beloved candy store owner Mandy Millipod, 66, has been reported missing. He was last seen bird watching in Molasses Grove on the evening of September the 1st. Meanwhile, police are still searching for factory worker Alistair Shallon, 37, last seen fishing at Black Hole Lake on August the 17th. Authorities are looking into sightings of large wild animals in the area. Wild animals? Lucy scoffed. She knew the truth. These guys weren't attacked. They were abducted by aliens. She imagined the article they would write about her tomorrow. Lucy Sladen, 12-year-old genius, rescues missing Sticky Pines resident while awesomely confirming once and for all the existence of extraterrestrials. Former critics are amazed and deeply apologetic. All she needed to do now was sneak out without getting caught. A knock on the door sent the newspaper flying out of her hand in a dozen fluttering pieces. Her 9-year-old sister Willow entered without waiting for an invitation. Lucy wondered why she bothered to hang the "Keep Out, Unbelievers" sign on the door. "What are you doing up here?" asked Willow. "Listening for radio signals from space." "Too much cloud cover." Lucy glanced at the clipping from the ETB pinned to the corkboard above her desk. Do aliens use bad weather to hide from sight? Lucy knew the answer. You bet they flippin' do. She gathered up the newspaper and put it back together in no particular order. "I think I'm going to hit the hay early tonight." Your bedtime's not for 2 hours, said Willow. What can I say? Lucy stretched her arms and yawned, fairly convincingly. I'm bushed. You're not in your pyjamas. I was just about to change. Keep it together, Lucita. Sneaking out is all in the details. She had Googled it. Willow kicked a pile of dirty clothes and hopped over to sit on the rumpled bed. Did you hear there was another Bigfoot sighting? She chewed the strings of her pink unicorn hoodie. Dad says Sasquatches only eat boys, but Mum says they're equal opportunity. Lucy snorted. Please, only babies and tourists believe in dumb stuff like Bigfoot. You believe in fairies, Willow sneered. I believe in trans-dimensional beings who have been mistaken for fairies. Whatever, Willow rolled her eyes. Errol ran off after dinner again. You're not supposed to feed him people food. Eating only dog food is boring, Will. Lucy checked the clock. Do you want something? Mum and Dad want to know if you're going to come make up songs with us, said Willow. 3 nights in a row? Thanks for the invite, but like I said, I'm bushed. It's only 8 o'clock, Willow complained. What are you, 5? She picked up a Yoda toy from the bookshelf and started messing with its ears. Lucy snatched the precious Jedi out of her hands. Okay, time to go. I wasn't going to break your doll. Figurine, Lucy corrected. She scooted her sister onto the Golden Pine landing. Tell Mum and Dad not to wake me up. It's a school night. Fine. Willow stuck out her tongue and mercifully headed downstairs. Lucy turned off all the lights and got into bed, fully clothed. She stared impatiently into darkness until it was well past Willow's 9 o'clock bedtime. Nobody came upstairs to check on her. It's time. She slipped on her hiking boots, red hoodie and grey poncho, grabbed her backpack and tiptoed down the stairs, keeping her feet on the inside edges to minimise creaking. Cautiously, she inched her way along the hallway of the weathered log cabin and into the kitchen. She ducked to avoid being seen by her parents in the living room, then slid out the side door and into the garage. The twangs of her father's banjo and her mother's cackling laughter faded as she dipped under the garage door, always open halfway so that Errol could get in and out. Outside, a bolt of lightning splintered through the low clouds, the sky resembling an undulating sea of jellyfish. Lucy headed into the forest. She had grown up in these woods, and she and Willow had given names to the most distinctive-looking trees. Hey, Arnold, she saluted a knobbly blue pine that had fallen sideways but managed to find a way to keep growing. Its contorted 2-pronged trunk was twisting to resemble a capital letter A. She steered clear, knowing from experience that its bark was thick with dark glue-like sap. A gust of wind allowed its tangled branches to shudder in response. When the path came to a fork, she pulled out a hand-drawn map, orientated herself, then tramped off-road, straight into the shadowy foliage. Twice she slipped on the muddy ground and nearly lost her balance. She picked up a fallen tree branch, shaking off a yellow banana slug as big as her forearm, and snapped off the narrow end to make a walking stick. Stabilised, she set off again, rain spattering her glasses. She wiped the lenses with her sleeve and meticulously scanned the patches of sky for any sign of unnatural activity. Picking her way around a patch of brambles, she heard something out of place. A dull, mechanical hum echoing above the forest. Lucy's heart began to pound. This could be it. She squinted at the leafy shadows overhead and ran towards whatever was making the artificial noise. It seemed to be hovering just over her head, hidden by a canopy. A glint of blue light darted across an opening in the leaves as the flying object she could not identify shot off deeper into the woods, the mosquito-like hum growing fainter by the second. Oh, no, you don't. Lucy chased after it, twigs whipping at her cheeks. She leapt over an overgrown patch of ferns and slid on a slimy patch of mud, sprawling face first on the soggy forest floor. Out of breath, she rolled onto her back and looked up, the rain falling on her face. She was in a clearing in the trees under the stormy sky. There was no sign of the unidentified flying object. Come on, I know you're out there, she shivered. Her trousers were soaked through and she felt cold to the bone. Then she heard an unmistakable sound, footsteps. Lucy hopped to her feet and clutched her walking stick. Who would be crazy enough to be out here on a night like this? Besides me, I mean. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Something was moving through the trees behind her. Something big. Anxiously, she remembered the news report about large animals in the area. Maybe the missing people really did get eaten by a mountain lion. She brought the stick over her shoulder like a baseball bat and closed her eyes. Then, hi-ya! She spun at the darkness, swinging with her staff blindly, hitting nothing. A burst of lightning revealed a large creature. Wiry grey hair matted to its muscled frame, grimacing to reveal long, sharp teeth. Lucy dropped her stick. Errol! She had never been so happy to see the family wolfhound in her life. Oh man, I'm sorry, bud. She smiled in relief and took a step towards her shaggy pet. Come here, doggo. But Errol wasn't looking at her. He was looking past her, and he clearly did not like what he was looking at. Ears flat, he snarled in a kind of menacing display, usually reserved for the weird guy who ran the candy store at the centre of town, the guy who disappeared the other night. What is it? Lucy's smile faded. She wasn't sure whether she wanted to see what was frightening the 40-kilo dog or whether she should rethink her life choices and run home, not stopping until she was in bed with the dinosaur covers pulled over her head. Curiosity won out over her sense of self-preservation. Slowly, she turned around. What the? For a moment, she forgot to breathe. Not 6 metres away, cloaked in shadow near the edge of the clearing, stood a massive hunchbacked figure staring up at the sky. It looked almost human, except for the stringy, tangled hair that hung wetly over its pot-bellied body, like some kind of golem made of moss. From where Lucy was standing, it looked like those pictures they sold to suckers in tourist traps throughout the valley. Holy flippin' crudballs! Bigfoot? She whispered. The creature swiveled its head like a grotesque bird of prey, with its massive body motionless. It issued a low insect-like hiss from deep within its throat. A bolt of lightning flashed, revealing wide-set black eyes on a blunt, bulldogish face, staring right at Lucy. Pretty scary stuff. What will happen? Will Lucy become friends with the monster? Will she get eaten by the monster? You'll have to read to find out. Now, a really good game to play where you could get drawing monsters with your family is called Consequences. All you need is to each get a strip of paper like this and fold it into 4 sections so that each member has an identical-ish piece of paper. On your go, you need to start on round 1 by drawing a head. So you could draw just a person's head, for example. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to give him hair, a smile, some friendly eyes, crazy eyes actually. There we go. That is the person that I've drawn. Now, obviously, other family members will draw different things. Maybe one of them will draw a monster head. Then what you have to do is fold the head over and then swap your papers around. So you then draw the next part of the body using the neckline. So when you actually sort of draw the first section, I forgot to say, your necklines should go over the edge to the next section. So the next person knows where to draw the next bit of their monster or whatever it is they're drawing. Again, when you do it, draw little lines over the edge. So whoever's doing it knows how to continue the body. So once again, I'm folding over. I've done a monster body there. And then you swap. And then once again, you draw the next section of your person. I would draw that section there, which is a belt, a watch, a wristwatch and some trousers. And then once again, you make the little lines overlap. Once you've done the feet, you can open it up and look, you get a funny monster on your paper, and everyone's monsters will be different with different parts of the bodies that they drew. Good day. Hope you will have fun making monsters and that you will spread the word about these homeschooling videos, and please subscribe. Bye.